What is going on? What's happening in here? Hello, everyone. How's it going? What the? Hello. What are you all doing here? I thought I was by myself. I was about to talk to myself here for a while, and I took a turn around. What the heck? Where'd all you guys come from? Welcome to the PreStream Podcast, Episode 8. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of December, 2021. Now, today was to be my final streaming day of this week. And I had everything planned out perfectly. Everything was set in stone. I was going to have a nice, relaxing day off tomorrow. Actually, it looked like it was going to be the second week in a row where I was going to have a more relaxing day at home rather than going out and about doing stuff. And then a monkey wrench got thrown into my plans. My wife told me that her work schedule changed, and then she had to make an appointment and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay. So the schedule has changed. Today's no longer my last streaming day of the week. I am here tomorrow as well. Incidentally, this is okay, because this is actually a week where, in a very rare situation, there's actually a new release on a Wednesday. I don't know why, but there's a new release on a Wednesday, as we'll talk about in a moment. So it gives me opportunity to actually cover it on its release day, which is nice. Originally, I was going to just start it on Thursday, but, you know, it is what it is. And no, Gray Fox, I'm timing you out for being stupid. I'm seriously timing you out. It's fucking dumbest thing. So, yes, I'm here today for a full day of streaming and tomorrow for a full day of streaming. So, spread it from the rooftops. Let everyone know. Because it would really suck if tomorrow I come in here to stream and there's no one around. And I'm looking around like, where's everybody? I hope not. I hope people understand that I will be here tomorrow for streaming. Okay? By the way, my stupid post-nasal drip is bothering me today. What a shock. So apologies in advance. Okay. Let's talk today because we got a lot to talk about today. So number one, I'd like to update the schedule so you guys know exactly what's going to happen this coming week because we actually have some determinations based on streaming yesterday. Okay? In addition to that, we got some cool gaming news stories to cover today. 3 big ones to discuss on the podcast. Today is a big conclusion day, I think, from what I'm to understand. Today will be the end of a major playthrough that I've been doing for about a week. And it's just going to be a good one. It's going to be a good streaming day. I'm feeling good and solid about it. I'm feeling like today's going to be a great day. Okay? What should we do first? I don't know. On a day like today when there's so much to talk about, it's hard to determine what you want to do first, right? How about... All right. Let's do the schedule first. Get out of the way so we can get to these gaming news stories because they're pretty interesting today, okay? For change. So today, the main gameplay stream is the conclusion of Metroid Dread. Now, someone's excited about that. This last week, I've played Metroid Dread as a regular playthrough here on my streams on DSPGaming. Admittedly, I was apprehensive about playing Metroid Dread because when I've played Metroidvania games historically over my 13 years as a content creator, usually within 2 streams, attendance dwindles, support becomes non-existent, and everyone starts to complain that the game is boring, play something else. This has literally happened with every major Metroidvania game that I've played in the past, okay? So when Metroid Dread was released in October, I held off on playing it. I was already in the midst of so many other playthroughs at the time, and I told you guys I want to play it. I'll get around to it, but I'm not a priority for me because I already know how you guys kind of treat these playthroughs for whatever reason. The thing is, I like Metroidvania games. I've tried playing them over the years. I don't know why they failed. Okay? So that being said, we gave it a big experiment this week, and I told you guys, I said this could be a good experiment to determine whether or not this is something that we continue to do in the future or not. If Metroid Dread ends up doing well, all right, and attendance is good, and support is good, wow, here we go again, boosh, get him, take that Santa Phil. If attendance ends up being good and support ends up being good, all right, then I would strongly consider playing more Metroidvania games in the future. In fact, I have a few in mind. I've always wanted to play Ori and the Blind Forest. People have wanted to see me play Hollow Knight for a couple of years now. Okay? So, we already have candidates of games lined up that I could play if people would support Metroidvania playthroughs. Okay? And so, this was really interesting, a good experiment this last week. I've been playing the game for about a week now. Attendance has been good. Uh-oh. I hate post-nasal drip. Attendance has been good. Support has been really good. I don't have a single complaint when it comes to attendance or support for Metroid Dread up to this point. It's all been great. Seriously, everything's been, great. And this gives me hope that coming forward in the future, thank you, Hank, he says Gesundheit. Thank you, that in the future, people will continue to support Metroidvania playthroughs. Okay, now today is the big finale of Metroid Dread. It would be great to end on a very high note, have another strong stream, great attendance, good support, and everything to end the playthrough. That would be perfect, okay? And in fact, I would strongly consider playing another Metroidvania game sooner rather than later. Now, would it be right away? Probably not. I'm not going to play. Next new game will be a Metroidvania game. We're just finishing a major one. But you see what I'm saying? Like, now it's something new to consider. A whole genre of games that I've literally ignored because every time I've attempted it, it didn't work out. This is the first one that's ever worked out. Can't believe it. And by the way, what a one to work out because they're great, right? This is a great game. Metroid Dread has been exceptionally good. As I've told you as I've played it, feels like a perfect combination of retro factors like classic Metroid combined with some modernized things like the quick time events, the parry system. Actually, that's not really, I guess it is technically a quick time event, but the parry system as well as some of the horror aspects of the game that make it feel a little bit more modernized and different than just classic Metroid, right? So, today, the conclusion. Now, here's the thing. I've been told the game's 9 to 12 hours long. I'm 9 hours in right now. I'm being told, at least from the things that I've seen in the last day, I basically have 2 hours left in the game. But the next couple bosses coming up, the finale bosses are challenging and could take a while to figure out trial and error of how to beat them. And since that's the case, maybe it would take the whole 3-hour stream for me today to beat the game. Also, you got to keep in mind, I'm an interactive streamer. When contributions come in, when people ask me questions, I stop what I'm doing to talk with you guys. So even though some people might have beaten this game in 9 hours, I wouldn't be shocked if it takes me the entire 12 or even longer. Who knows, right? Let's see how today goes. Obviously, I would like to beat the game today and move on to other stuff, but let's see what happens today. If I don't beat it today and we still need like a night stream or something, it's fine, okay? Refreshing seltzer. Feels good after a sneeze. So, that's today. Let's see how Metroid Dread goes. I really hope attendance is good, and I really hope support remains the same, as good as it's been. Let's have a good finale session of Metroid Dread and enjoy the game, and then I can actually give you my opinion and decide if it's going to be a Game of the Year contender for me or not. All right? Because a lot of people, it's in their Game of the Year countdowns or maybe even their pick for Game of the Year. I'll let you know what I think at the end of the playthrough. Okay? Good stuff. And again, sorry for this. I don't want this. It sucks. Later tonight is a continuation of Lost Judgment. This is a playthrough that I've been playing for over 2 months. We're now in the end game. We're making a major push to try to finish up the school story side content. Once we finish up that side content, we unlock another major plot line with the professor that apparently is its own investigation that's kind of interesting, and then we can finish the game. So, tonight will absolutely be a grindy style stream where I'll probably be trying to go through boxing matches and then the bike club, maybe finish the dance club. We'll see how much time we have left, but it's going to be that style of a stream. If you come by, please be ready to chill. Be ready for interaction and fun and talking. The gameplay isn't going to be that riveting because we're doing a lot of side missions to try to finish this up before the end of the game. Okay? So there you go. Tomorrow, I'm here. Shockingly, I wasn't going to be here, but now I'm here tomorrow. That will be my final streaming day of the week. So tomorrow, first stream will be the premiere of the Halo Infinite campaign. Now, I'm not sure how it works. I have Halo Infinite obviously installed on my Xbox, and I already have it like, installed the campaign when available, but I don't know if it's going to show up as a separate download that I need to preload at some point. To my knowledge, it's not preloadable yet. I'm not sure how it works. In addition, they've been saying the campaign will be available at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Well, that's 10 a.m. my time. Does that mean, as I'm setting up for pre-stream, I can maybe set it up to pre-download or download live while I'm doing the pre-stream, so that way it's done in time for the end of the pre-stream? I hope. But anyway, that's going to be the main stream tomorrow, the premiere of Halo Infinite's campaign mode, finally, okay? So we'll finally see firsthand, is it worth a damn? Is it any good? Is it better than the previous Halo campaigns? I sure hope so, because I didn't like the campaigns of Halo 2 or 3, so I hope this one is dramatically better, okay? Tomorrow night, the late stream and final consecutive stream of the week will be Forza Horizon 5, kind of coming full circle, because last week, my late night stream on the first day back was Forza Horizon 5, and here we are a week later doing it again. Keep in mind, Forza Horizon is a very chill, fun stream. Right now, we actually are approaching the end of the game. I have unlocked all of the end game, like, missions. Although there's still a lot of plot left. There's still story-based missions that I'm going to do. And then there's the end game missions, take about 15 to 20 minutes to complete each. So we still got a ways to go. I would argue probably a couple more weeks of Forza Horizon 5 at least before we see the end of the game. But it should be a great time, and I hope you guys will join me for that. Okay, good stuff. Now, that means I'm off from streaming on Thursday, which wasn't the case originally. I'll be back on Friday. Now, I was thinking about how I want to schedule things this weekend, because now that the Halo Infinite campaign is in the mix and everything, and by the way, I should give you a large update in regards to Halo Infinite's multiplayer gameplay, okay? So I've been playing Halo Infinite multiplayer. I've been having a lot of fun with Halo Infinite multiplayer. In fact, I've been getting better and better. Every time I play, I seem to be near or at the top of the leaderboards. I'm getting fun kill streaks. I'm doing really well with the weapons. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy the game. I think it's the best multiplayer game of the year by far, and the best Halo game in many, many, many years, okay? But what I noticed was a pattern. Every time I played Halo Infinite multiplayer, viewership was good, support was not so good. Support ended up being very slow. And after 3 straight streams of this, I announced that for last night's Halo Infinite stream, that if things didn't pick up, I basically was going to say, listen, you guys obviously want something else on the nights. You know, this is my business as well as my hobby. I have to do stuff that's going to support a business and pay my bills. As much as I like Halo Infinite multiplayer, I can't play it twice a week if it's going to mean a dead stream when it comes to support twice a week, okay? So I said, listen, I'm not against still playing it, but let's see what happens on this Monday night stream. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Number one, we had a poll. Do you guys want me to continue to play Halo Infinite as much as I've been playing? The majority of people said, yes, we like it, keep doing it. And then there was a rallying of support. The support was great last night. I don't have a single complaint. In all regards, support was great. So, for the time being, I'm keeping Halo Infinite. Don't eat that piece of, what is that? A piece of tissue or something on the floor. He's trying to eat it. Don't eat that piece of tissue. You'll get sick if you eat that, you know that. You'll just end up barfing it up later. Now he's going to chew the way. You're not chewing no wires. Don't even get any ideas. Don't get no ideas that you're chewing a wire or something today. That ain't happening. Okay, anyway. So, because Halo Infinite did well last night and people rallied and supported it, I will continue to play Halo Infinite twice a week the way that I have been doing over the past several weeks. If it ends up drying up again, then maybe I will move on, because there's other things people want to see. Immediately, I get suggestions of like, play Condemned Criminal Origins, jump on Game Pass and check out some of the many games that are on there that you skipped and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I got a million options. I really, at any point, could just drop something and immediately interject something completely different that you guys want, and there's no problems there, you see? Personally, I really enjoy Halo Infinite multiplayer. It's a throwback to the classic game, plus has more modernizations and new weapons and things in it that I'm really enjoying. I'm having a great time with it. I'm getting better at it every time I play it, so it's a no-brainer. You want to see me play something competitive rather than just single-player narrative games, here you go. So, thank you to those who came out last night for Halo Infinite. You basically kept the playthrough going for now, and let's see what happens continuing forward if the Halo Infinite multiplayer gets more support, okay? It's good stuff. All right, so, that being said, because Halo Infinite multiplayer is continuing, this factors into my future schedule for the weekend. When I come back on Friday, it's going to be more Halo Infinite campaign, and then my weekly late-night Street Fighter session on Friday night. Now, you might say, why are you doing Halo Infinite campaign on Wednesday, going on break on Thursday, and doing it again on Friday? because on Saturday, I'm going to be doing Halo Infinite multiplayer on the late stream. And I don't want to do a whole day of Halo Infinite campaign and then multiplayer. That's too much. That's seriously way too much of the same game all day long. Okay? And I know that. I know you guys want variety. You don't want the same thing every stream. So that's why I'm breaking it up. It's going to be Halo Infinite campaign and Street Fighter on Friday. And then the return of Grand Theft Auto Vice City Definitive Edition on Saturday. And we're going to balance that with the late night stream of Halo Infinite. Okay? And then for the week, we're going to balance all this out. It's going to be on the mainstream, either the campaign of Halo Infinite or Vice City continuing. And on the night stream, it'll either be Halo Infinite multiplayer or Lost Judgment on the late streams moving into next week. Now, I actually don't know when the next day off that I'm going to have is going to be. It's probably Wednesday of next week, but maybe not. It's very confusing because every week it seems like it's going to be one thing, and then sometimes it changes, and I apologize for that. It's this crazy time of year where schedules are shifting, appointments are being made. It's like, oh, got to change it on the fly, right? What can you do? Okay? It is what it is. So that's the schedule for the next week. I hope that sounds good to you guys. Quick addendums and updates before we get to game news today, because like I said, I got a lot of game news to talk about. Number one, we are only one member away from our record. Our record here on DSPGaming is 334 members. We hit that twice this week, but then we lose members overnight, and then people re-up during the day, so it keeps going up and down, all right? The monthly goal we have is 365. If we hit that, it's the return of the retro replay event, where we're going to go, not retro replay, the retrospective event, excuse me, where we go down memory lane. You guys will nominate your favorite stuff from my 13 years as a content creator. We'll do a marathon where we reminisce on it and I react to it. It's going to be a fun time. Every time I've done this, you guys have loved it. It's been a year since I did it last, so it'll be a good time to do it again, all right? You get so many benefits to being a channel member. I can't urge you any more strongly to become a member than right now. Just think, all right? Just think about it. Highlight a name in chat. Don't have to abide by slow mode rules. All the emotes unlocked, including even more unlocking for every 50 more members we get. Another emote unlocks. A cool chat crown to show how long that you've been a supporter. For things like Ask the King, you get priority to get your question answered on my bi-monthly Q&A show, Ask the King. For things like the upcoming Christmas Marathon, you get priority to nominate games to be played during the marathon. There's a million reasons to become a channel member. What are you waiting for? And if you become a channel member, consider leaving it on auto-renew so we don't have dips every day, because this is the problem. We go up, then we go down because people didn't leave it on auto-renew, and it's a little frustrating. So please consider it. Let's maybe see today, with the conclusion of Metroid Dread, can we hit a new record? Can we hit 335 or higher? That would be superb. Okay? As you guys know, I'm a crowdfunding guy. I don't have any sponsorships, partnerships, and I don't get paid for streaming. It's all about crowdfunding from you guys. So, becoming a channel member, doing a super chat or super sticker, tipping me, all those are great ways to support the stream. If you do so, I'll give you a shout out live during today's stream. As you know, for tips in particular, we have rewards in place. At $50, I put on a pair of Gunner glasses. At $100, you get to vote on a hat for me to wear, including new hats in the rotation, like the Festive Santa hat, as well as a Punisher beanie. And of course, if we hit the full tips goal today, which would be stupendous for the conclusion of Metroid Dread, you'll get to vote on a vest for me to wear. All right? I got all that crap out of the way. I want to blow my nose, and then we're going to start with game news, because I have 3 big stories to cover this morning. But first, I gotta blow my goddamn nose because I sneezed and it's very annoying. Don't mind me, Jasper Kitty. I just gotta shimmy by you to go get a tissue. Okay. Ugh. Disgusting. Okay. And don't mind me, Jasper Kitty. I'm just gonna shimmy by again. He's sitting on the floor. He's kind of in the breaded cat position, but not really. He's like half breaded. And he looks like he's about to move. I'm like, don't move. You're fine. You're relaxing. Just sit there. As you can't tell, Jasper Kitty's going to be here today with us in the office. Hopefully he doesn't interrupt when I play Metroid. Okay. So let's talk, guys. We got 3 major news stories to cover today. All right. In no particular order. I guess we'll start off today with an update from our friends at Naughty Dog. Right? Because ever since last year, with The Last of Us 2, there's been nothing but positive news out of Naughty Dog, right? I digress. Anyway, so the news this morning is that Uncharted is going to have a special updated edition I think it's called like the Thieves Legacy Collection or something like that. So Uncharted 4, as well as its standalone expansion, The Lost Legacy. Okay, but they were great games. I played both of them a few years ago. Outstanding games, great games for the end of the life cycle of PS4. Really enjoyed them. Okay, I recommend them. If you haven't played them yourself, I recommend the game strongly. So, they are coming out with a new special edition of these games, sold as a bundle, okay, in the end of January. Now, you might say, well, what? They're already out. Like, what are they doing in this special edition? What's new? What's the deal? Updated graphics. There will be a super high fidelity 4K 30 frames per second mode. There will be a performance mode that runs at 120 hertz, which is 120 frames per second. And then there will also be like an ultra performance mode that only runs at 1080p, but full 60 frames, non-variable, basically solid, full frame rate gameplay. So basically, the biggest optimized graphics for these games possible, okay? Outside of that, really nothing. That's it. It's basically a graphical and performance upgrade, okay? If you already own these games, like I do, I own them digitally, right? PS4 versions of those games. For $10, you can get this upgrade, and then you can play those versions of the game at the end of January. If you don't own the games, I think that they said they're selling them as a bundle for $50 or something like that. So if you've never played Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy before, you get them both with these updated versions for like $50 at the end of January. Okay? Now, some people, by the way, this is on, I should clarify, this is on PlayStation 5. This is not for PS4. PS4 is not going to do 4K graphics. Okay? Some people are excited about this. They actually feel that this is a great thing. Wow, updating the older games that were some of the best sellers of last console gen for the modern console. I really like this idea. Others are completely up in arms about it. Why? Well, because you might not realize this, but Sony has competition in the form of Microsoft. And Microsoft, with its Xbox Series S and X, have been releasing these upgraded versions of games for free over the course of the last year. In fact, they just dropped a final update, which is 70 games. All legacy games from the Microsoft's history that all now will run at full 60 frames with monstrous graphical improvements. Now, did they all play at 4K? No. But the point I'm making is Microsoft went through their catalog of games that they could upgrade and did it for free. And gave it to everyone for free without charging a single penny. Now, admittedly, they just said that's it, they're not doing it anymore. They just finished up with all the games they could do this with, and they said everything else just basically is a licensing issue at this point. You know, the game licenses are outdated, we can't do it with any older games, but they've done a tremendous amount of games and upgrades, really. Like, they've done a really great job with this, giving people free stuff. I actually cannot wait because I already told you guys in 2022, I'm planning to either do a playthrough of Fallout 3, completionist run with all the DLCs, or Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which either one would be great, and they both run at full 60 frames on the Xbox Series X. So how cool would that be, right? And that's because Microsoft is providing that for free. They're not charging anyone for those upgrades. So why is it that Sony seems to be nickel and diming their customer base? Oh, we're going to upgrade the graphics of Uncharted, one of our best franchises of all time, Sony exclusive, and charge you money for it. Wait, what? Why? Xbox did it for free. You're charging specifically for it. Why are you doing this? So I can definitely argue there's a valid argument here for people to be upset. If you're getting something for free from one company that's a major console manufacturer / developer, and the other one says, we refuse to give you anything for free, we charge you for everything, yeah, that's a problem. I keep telling you guys, this console gen, in the last year, I've seen Xbox do almost everything right, and Sony seems to be doing everything wrong. I don't even know what Sony's thinking these days. You know, the PlayStation 5 doesn't even have all the features of the Xbox Series X. It just doesn't. It doesn't have the backwards compatibility of the Xbox Series X. It doesn't have a Game Pass system right now. They're working on that, supposedly, like we talked about a few days ago with this codename Spartacus program. And now they're charging everyone for upgrades to older games. Like, everything they're doing is anti-consumer at this point. I'm like, what is going on here? And it's so weird to me that with console gens, they flip-flop, right? Well, 2 console gens ago, the Xbox 360 was doing everything right except red ringing. The red ring was the biggest problem. Outside of that, everything else about the Xbox 360, Xbox Live, voice chat, all that stuff was all dramatically better than what Sony did with the PS3. And Sony had to play huge catch-up by, trying to get rid of shit people didn't want, like the stupid 6-axis crap that no one cared about. They had to remove that from games and stop making it for games. And then they had to fucking throw in trophies to catch up with achievements, and they had to try to keep upgrading their console to basically be as good as what Microsoft had put out, right? And then the last console gen, Microsoft completely loses their effing way, and they think that they're gonna force bundle in the Kinect with the Xbox One, and everything's about motion control and verbal commands now, and bundling in your cable television with your game console, which was the most boneheaded fucking thing I'd ever heard of. And then, you can't, you can't trade in games, you can't give a game disc to someone else. There was so many fucking terrible things that they did. They're so dumb. They fucked up the console entirely. Right? Now, this console gen, it seems what happened is Sony is so used to being the market leader from last console gen, they just kind of sat back and did all the wrong things while Microsoft is actively trying to do the best. They're actually trying. They're working hard to actually have the best console and have the best value for gamers, while Sony is kind of like, meh, we don't have to do nothing because everyone races out to buy the PS5 every time it's available, and we have the market leader right now. We're the market sharing leader, right? So, basically, it's just weird to me. I have to 100% agree with you guys. 100%. This is bullshit. Why are you charging $10 for a graphical overhaul of a game that arguably was one of the best looking games on the PS4 era? $10 more when it's free. All those upgrades are kind of free on Xbox. I just don't understand that. And how can Sony even justify it? Like, what are they thinking? Your competition is doing it for free. So, how do you justify the money? I just don't get it at all. I really don't. The other thing is, who cares? Everyone who wanted to play Uncharted 4 already played it. Seriously, name one person who owned a PS4 who skipped the flagship title of PS4 and now has a desire to play it. Chances are, if you skipped it, it's because you don't like it. You're probably not going to play it now. Oh, wait, now it's in 4K? Oh, I got to buy it for $50. No. So this just seems like a weird thing to me. This whole thing, just in general, the way that they're going about it. So this is one of the news stories for today, okay? Another news story is out of our friends at Ubisoft. As we know, Ubisoft, one of the best gaming companies in the world. Everyone trusts them. Everyone knows that they're out for what's best for the consumer, and they want to make games that are, big works of art. They really don't care about money. We all know that, right? Of course, we all know that. So following along this vein this morning, totally not being, facetious or anything here, they announced they will be the first major game developer that will adopt NFTs into their games, and the first game that they're going to adopt NFTs into it. Energy efficient NFTs, by the way. They have to fucking emphasize that. Energy efficient. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. The absolutely best-selling, ginormously popular Ghost Recon Breakpoint. What the fuck is Breakpoint? What is Ghost Recon Breakpoint? Does anyone even remember that game? Wasn't that the one? Wasn't that the one that had the guy from Walking Dead as the main character, and there was a dog or something, and it didn't sell? Like it failed miserably? Or maybe not. Was there another Ghost Recon game? So, what the fuck is Ghost Recon Breakpoint? I don't even know what that is. Out of all those games, Ghost Recon games, the problem is now there's been so many of them that they all meld into one in your head. You don't even know what is Ghost Recon Breakpoint? Am I thinking of the right game? Because that game flopped. That was a ginormous sales failure for Ubisoft. They even said, it was incredibly disappointing. They're kind of going back to the drawing board for the future Ghost Recon games. Now, you might say, what is an NFT? Some people are actually saying that. What the hell is an NFT? I don't understand. In a nutshell, An NFT is a digital item. It could be a song. It could be a picture. It could be a video. In this case, it's going to be a piece of something in a video game that is unique because only one person can own it and use it. Okay? So think of it this way. You're playing Halo, and there's an NFT for a helmet. Only one person on Earth owns the rights to that helmet and can use that helmet in Halo. You spend money to buy it, and then you permanently own it. This is not, a helmet that everyone can buy or earn in the game. This is unique to you. You own it. Okay? So, in the last 1 to 2 years, especially with the outbreak of COVID and everything, everyone's stuck at home, NFTs have become way more popular, and they existed for a bit now, but now people start talking about them and they start trading for top dollar on the internet. Okay? Of course, there also was an NFT crash, where at one point, all the NFTs that were overinflated value because of COVID then crashed and had zero value. So this NFT thing is definitely an interesting take. Like, there was actually a Wu-Tang Clan album that they made. The Wu-Tang Clan, those artists, those musicians, made an album, and it was sold as a unique album to one person as an NFT, and that album could never be sold to anyone else. That's it. They own the rights to it. Unless they license out that album for resale, which they have the right to do because they own it, they own that album, and they're the only people who could ever listen to it. Okay? So, if you're talking about, in regards to video games, I mean, just think of the ramifications of having NFTs in video games. Imagine if you're playing Smash Brothers, okay? And someone has a unique item that only they can use in Smash Brothers. They're the only person on the planet that can use that item, and that item is overpowered, and it allows you to have double speed. So now you're a double speed character, and you're just kicking everyone's ass online in Smash Brothers infinitely. Now, admittedly, probably that item would be banned from tournament play, but you could still see the kind of the ramifications of stuff like that. If you have a unique item that's not just cosmetic and has an ability in a game, that could completely tip the scales. Imagine if you're playing Mario Kart, and someone has a unique shell that takes out everyone on the map. It's an NFT shell that costs $10,000 for them to purchase. But when they use it, it takes out everyone in a race at once. Right? Now, the things I'm telling you about are what ifs. These don't exist yet. Okay? But these are what ifs. These are actual scenarios that could happen with NFTs, which is why a lot of people are very skeptical about the rise of NFTs in video games. Okay? Now, here's the thing. With the regards of supposedly this game, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, that's going to have NFTs, it's just cosmetics. It's just going to be you have a unique look to you, whether it's an outfit, a helmet, I don't know exactly what it's going to be. Cosmetics being unique NFTs, I mean, that could be neat, I guess. Imagine if you're playing Call of Duty, and only one person on planet Earth has the authority to have a skin that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So you're running around looking like Arnold from Predator, and you're running around, it's Arnold from Predator killing everyone in Call of Duty, right? That would be amazingly cool, but only one person has the rights to do it because they bought the rights because it's an NFT. As opposed to, that's a skin they sold and everyone can equip it. Only one person would have it, you see? So, that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Is it's a unique take. Will we have a world within a few years where everything is unique and everything you buy in a video game is only to you? And by the way, it would be incredibly expensive. This would not be, it's a $10 transaction. This would be like, $1,000, and then you own the rights to use that forever. You see? So, I guess we'll see what happens, but this was just announced this morning. As usual, there was mixed reaction. Some people are like, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of a new era. Everything's going to change for games. You're going to see this new monetization system. Every game is going to have NFTs out the butt, and you're going to have every person, every character in every game, but only one person will be able to use that character in every game. Watch, this is chaos will ensue, but it's going to be beautiful commercial chaos, and everyone's going to be rolling in dough. I'm serious. Then other people are like, this is the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of turning everything to be a commercial transaction, and it's going to be basically the focus of these game companies are going to be, what can I make on NFTs rather than what can I make in a good game. You're going to see entire games based off NFTs rather than actual games worth playing. Some people are feeling that Ubisoft is completely off base with what gamers want, and at this point, they're literally just caring about money. That's the only reason they're doing this. I don't know. I guess we're going to see what happens in regards to this, because I'm very interested to see how this will pan out. Personally, I will be purchasing 0 NFTs. 0. I will not have any NFTs. And by the way, one thing should be noted. NFTs can only be bought and sold if there's a legal right to do it. For example, let's say, oh, I wanted to make an NFT of Ryan Reynolds and put him in a video game. You can't just do that. That Ryan Reynolds owns his likeness. You can't just put Ryan Reynolds in a game and say, oh, I own his NFT. No, you have to actually have the rights to it. So we're talking fictional characters and stuff like that, not necessarily just a person. You can't just toss a person into a game and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But since this is a situation where it's the beginning of an era of NFTs in video games, everyone's curious to see how this will pan out and how this will affect games in the future. Like, literally, will game devs focus on this? Oh, we have a battle royale game, and we don't really care that much about the gameplay, but man, you could be any character you want, any licensed character. Amber Alert! Amber Alert! Amber Alert! Amber Alert, everyone. Don't worry, Jasper. Stupid fucking Amber Alert. Silent mode on. I forgot to turn silent mode on my phone, and we got an Amber Alert. Okay? Amber Alert! Okay. That was loud as fuck. Okay. I just muted my phone. I didn't realize my phone wasn't on mute. Okay. It's stupid that it fucking blows up my phone like that. It's not stupid to put on an Amber Alert to help a kid who's been kidnapped or is basically not in custody of someone who they should be in custody of. It's stupid that it blows up my fucking phone like that. Okay. So NFTs, we'll see what happens. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with NFTs moving forward, and how they're going to affect games. I'm very interested to see what happens. Okay. Okay. Last news story today is in regards to the Game Awards, which actually happened this Thursday. Incidentally, I'm off on Thursday. Isn't it funny how things just align perfectly, right? So anyway, the Game Awards. Okay? Happening this Thursday. And a couple weeks ago, we talked about, on stream, we talked about the nominees for the Game of the Year that are the official nominees for the Game of the Year in the Game Awards. Let's talk about them. So here's the 6 official nominees for Game of the Year 2021. Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. Looking at that list, okay? Looking at that list, I would argue that I agree with Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, and Resident Evil Village. I can't say I agree or disagree with It Takes Two, because I didn't play It Takes Two. Not having played it, I can't give an opinion on it. That would be completely unfair. Okay? Deathloop does not deserve Game of the Year in my opinion. It's a game that actually was buggy and actually was just rehashed gameplay from other franchises that game studio had made, Arcane. It was not unique in that regard when it came to the gameplay. The only gameplay uniqueness was that it was basically almost a roguelike or roguelite game. But at the same time, there's other games of that genre, so that's not original anymore. The plot was interesting at first, and by the end, the plot sucked. So guess what? Deathloop is not a Game of the Year contender for me. You can completely disagree, and that's okay. I feel like that was one of the most overhyped games in the mainstream gaming media this year, and I don't know why. I just don't understand it. It wasn't that good. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. If you want to talk about a tech demo for the PlayStation 5, then yes, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is actually one of the best games for PS5 this year. But if you're talking overall as a complete package, the story falls flat on its face about halfway through and gets boring. The gameplay gets repetitive about halfway through and gets boring. By the end of the game, you're doing exactly the same thing you've done in every other Ratchet & Clank game, repetitively shooting a million enemies that come in you wave after wave. Even by the end of the game, the weapons don't even feel special. The weapons feel generic and boring. The whole haptic feedback thing wears out its welcome after like an hour. You don't care about it anymore. In reality, it's just not a very great game. It's good. It's definitely, okay, here's a next-gen version of the game you've already played, but that's exactly how it feels. I've played this game before, but now it looks better. That doesn't mean it's a Game of the Year contender. It just means it's a solid game, you see? So those games I completely disagree with, okay? Now, Psychonauts 2, I agree with, but most people never played the game. So it's interesting to see that people who actually played it because they're journalists and were forced to play it say it's one of the best games of the year. But anyway, the point I'm making is this list, those 6 games, those Game of the Year contenders, are nominated from the majority of game journalists. There's a few other people involved in the industry, such as game developers and stuff that are involved. But in reality, the majority of people who are involved in nominating those games are game journalists. What happens is Jeff Keighley selects this secretive jury of people in the industry who actually have influence to nominate and vote on games for Game of the Year. When you look at this list, you say there's some startling omissions, right? Forza Horizon 5 still remains the highest rated game of the year and is not in this list. Why? Because game journalists don't really get racing games. I'm just gonna be honest. They just don't. They probably have like 1 or 2 people in the office who play racing games and everyone else is into more mainstream shit. So obviously, who's gonna vote for it for Game of the Year, right? Just because it's a genre that isn't necessarily mainstream accepted does not mean it's not a great game. It just means that, you know, in this case, perhaps this is not a good example of how to nominate games. I'm just saying. When you look at this list, 3 of the games are third-person action games, okay? It Takes Two, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. You're telling me that when they were working on this list, they couldn't narrow that shit down to only one best-of-class game in that genre and then add in more games from other genres? That was too difficult, apparently, right? But this is the point I'm making, is sadly, when you do a system that's exclusive, only a select group of elitists get to pick Game of the Year, this is what happens. You get closed-minded mentalities, you get games in there that don't make any fucking sense, according to mainstream gamers who actually played and bought the fucking games, and you get huge omissions, and you get too much of the same crap. Because I hate to say it, in 2021, games journalists do not have the same mindset and mentality as gamers. They don't. Number one, games journalists don't buy video games. They play them for free. They're handed a game code and told, play this game. With no monetary investment, it's hard for you to have that mindset when you're playing a game and see if there's value in that game. That's just number one. Number two, games journalists have time constraints and a certain period of time when they can play a game. Most of the time, games journalists have to play a game before release and rush out a review. Therefore, they're not seeing all the online implementations, the true features of a game that has that kind of a deal implemented in it. In addition, they have such time constraints. Some game journalists have to beat a game within 1 to 2 days, while a common gamer has time to take their time and experience the full gamut of what the game has to offer at their own pace. They have time to digest it and determine if it's good or not. A games journalist has to turbo mode through a fucking game 9 times out of 10, which doesn't give an accurate representation of what that game really is. Okay? I hate to say it, the games journalist model doesn't work in 2021. It just doesn't. You'll get a much better opinion of what games are good and what aren't from common gamers like you. People who sit there and buy the games like you, play them on release date, do playthroughs on stream or on their YouTube channels, and then after like a week or 2 of the game being out, can give you a well-digested, well-educated opinion on if the game is good or not. Not some guy who was handed a code for free 2 days before the release of the game, had to rush through the fucking game like this, and then pumps out a number score. All right? And so this is a major problem with gaming today. You know, games journalists at one point had a very important role. They had to review games before they came out for print media. Okay? They needed to get advanced copies early because they needed to play through the game and write a whole article, publish it, physically print it, and mail it to newsstands in time for the game to release. That's not the case anymore. Games journalism reviews are outdated. They don't need to exist. They could go away like this, and everyone all of a sudden would immediately have a more well-informed decision on what games are good and what aren't. The concrete evidence of this, is that every year at the Game Awards, they have their Game of the Year official selections, which is primarily game journalists, but then they have the Gamer's Choice. This year, they're calling it the Gamer's Voice Award, where gamers themselves are nominating and voting on games of the best game of the year. Now, let me tell you, this is what the purpose of this article is to actually tell you what are the nominations, all right, right now, what are the nominations for the viewer's voice for the Game Awards, okay? I'll tell you exactly. Here they are. You ready? So just to review, the officially approved games from journalists and the jury are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. As of this morning, here are the games that the gamers actually voted on that are now in the top 5 for the Gamer's Voice Award. Forza Horizon 5, It Takes Two, Halo Infinite, Metroid Dread, and Resident Evil Village. Do you see a distinct difference between this? Yes. Number one, there's only one third-person shooter. They removed the duplicates, because what they did is they narrowed it down to the best in class, which is what you should fucking do at a Game Awards. Okay, that's number one. Number two, there's no shitty overhyped games like Deathloop, because real gamers didn't like Deathloop. They thought it was just okay. They thought it was stupid that every game journalist kissed the game's butt and gave it a 10 out. Yes, games journalists gave Deathloop 10 out of 10. Do you not play games to know that Deathloop is not a perfect game? Like, seriously, do you just not play video games and this is the first one you picked up? Because it takes a lot to say that that game's flawless when you're ignoring the glitches and shit that were in it. Seriously. Okay? So, Deathloop's out of there. Ratchet & Clank's out of there because it ain't as good as fucking It Takes Two. Now, one that they removed in this viewer's voice is Psychonauts 2. Now, I'm going to be honest, I think Psychonauts 2 is a very sad case. Here's why. Psychonauts 2, being someone who played the game at its entirety, and actually I went into it with a bad mindset because I don't like Tim Schafer. I feel that in the last decade, he ripped off gamers with Broken Age. This is a game that he crowdfunded about a decade ago, and he only released half of the game. Then he pretended like he finished the second half, but in reality just reused all the assets from the first half because he squandered all the crowdfunding money that he had raised to make the game and put it into other projects. Okay? So I thought that was the biggest ripoff. He was a very, very dishonest guy, and I don't like him. All right? I went into the Psychonauts 2 thinking, man, I don't know what's going to happen with this game. I fucking loved it. Psychonauts 2 is an insanely well-made game. Every location is unique and different and interesting, has new gameplay mechanics that are original and fun, all right? The art style is completely unique. The story is interesting. The writing style is funny, but also interesting. There's some heavy stuff in the game, but also some really funny stuff in the game. And it's actually one of the most fun and unique games that I played all year long this year. Why do I think that Psychonauts 2 is not in the viewer's voice nominees? Because no one played it. Sales-wise, the game did incredibly poorly compared to what they expected. They even said it didn't even make it to the top 10 games of that month. The top 10. Not the top 5. Top 10. It didn't even make top 10 most selling in the month that it was released. Why? Because there was no marketing. There was zero marketing for the game. No one said, oh, the highly anticipated sequel to the cult classic game from the 2000s is here. Go play Psychonauts 2 on Game Pass. It's a must play. You must not miss it. There was zero marketing. No one even knew what the game was when it came out, unless you've been following along for years and years. No one even knew it was out. So when you get a game with no marketing as well, at all, okay, you get no performance. And so I'm not shocked to hear that it's a great game that I played, but the common gamer, common viewer didn't really vote for it. They don't even know what it is. And that's solely on Microsoft. It really is. Microsoft had the opportunity to promote this game. They chose not to for some odd fucking reason. And I think that's terrible. Because I actually think it's definitely one of the best games of the year. And now people will miss out and never hear of it. And I think, I'll be honest with you, I think that's the end of the franchise. I do. I think that they will not make any more Psychonauts games. Even though the game is kind of has a nice positive open end that leads it could lead into new games. I think it's done. Because the game just didn't sell. No one experienced it. Okay. Now, let's talk. Forza Horizon 5, the best rated game of 2021, is actually in the Player's Voice nominations. What a shock! Wow! The game that gamers actually like is a Game of the Year contender. It's almost like that's what the Game of the Year award should be about. Wow! It Takes Two again. I really wish I could speak to It Takes Two. I didn't play it. It's a co-op game that I will likely never get to experience at the way that the game developers intended it to be experienced. It sounds to me like one of the best co-op games ever made. Awesome. I will just accept that it's great. I'll probably never play it. Halo Infinite. Now, here's the thing about Halo Infinite. If you're just talking about the multiplayer, Halo Infinite is the best first-person shooter multiplayer of 2021. Okay? It just is. Now, if you're talking about the complete package, we don't know yet. The campaign doesn't come out until tomorrow, right? So without it coming out, how can you say, truly, that Halo Infinite is Game of the Year? You can't. You really can't. I think people are actually voting for this one based solely on their experience with the multiplayer and the hope that the single player is going to be really good. Tomorrow, we will basically kind of know, all right? And over the course of the next couple of weeks, of course, as I play through the full campaign, and I'll let you know, because, you know, my personal Game of the Year awards are going to probably be first week of January, where I'll do a countdown, the most disappointing games of 2021 and the best games of 2021. And I'll let you know then if I feel that the campaign of Halo Infinite is so good that it deserves Game of the Year contention for me. Right now, it's a strong front runner because the multiplayer is so good, okay? So, that makes sense. Metroid Dread, it seems like everyone who played Metroid Dread is collectively agreeing it's one of the best Metroid games of all time. I've had people come on this stream and tell me they feel it's the best Metroid game ever made. I don't know about that. I'm almost done with it. I definitely think maybe Super Metroid or maybe Metroid Fusion may be a little better, but maybe not. Let's see. Let's finish it up and see what I think by the end of the game today. Okay? And then Resident Evil Village. This is one that I personally loved. I thought it was one of the best survival horror games I've ever played. Great graphics, very spooky vibes and atmosphere, a great plot, actually, that kind of was confusing the entire way through, and then by the end, you kind of like, oh shit, to some cool connections and things to the Resident Evil franchise by the end. I really liked it. It's genuinely one of my favorite games of the year, and probably one of my favorite survival horror games I've ever played. And another one this year was Visage, too, but it's a shame because Visage didn't really come out this year. I wish I had played it in the year it came out. Because, man, that one was really good, too. We had some good survival horror stuff this year. But anyway, I am way more in agreement. Even with Psychonauts 2 being left out, I understand why. I'm way more in agreement with the viewers or players' voice award nominations than I am with the jury nominations of the fucking game journalists. It just, and I'm sorry, fucking Deathloop or Ratchet and Clank wins this fucking thing, Game of the Year. Like, that's ridiculous, man. They're not even that good. It's so ridiculous how these fucking journalists get so much clout and so much fucking notoriety and so much power with the shit that they do. Like, why? Why? Because I went to journalism school and I work for fucking IGN and I write shitty fucking reviews and the editor sucks shit and doesn't actually make sure the review is good and puts out a piece of dog shit? Like, Jesus, man. Really, it frustrates me. It does. These people should not have the influence they do. You should much rather trust an independent content creator who puts their heart and soul into it, who spends their hard-earned money for the fucking games they play, than a fucking person who's rushing through a review in 2 days, a pre-release version of the game that's not even the real game. Like, come on, man. Come on. What is my opinion on the Wings allegations? I do not believe he ate that much chili. I don't. I can't believe that anyone would believe that. You guys are just fucking out of your minds. Anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the news for today. The gaming news, anyway. Let's now get to shout-out, shall we? All right. Let's do it. DC has arrived with a haiku. How much do you want to bet the Game Awards will be all Deathloop Man? I really hope not. Like, Deathloop is by far the most overrated game of the year. By far. Okay. All right, guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we start off this morning with a super chat from Xbox Gamer 83, who says, I'm on the Assault the Control Room portion of Halo CE Classic. Good for you. I played Halo CE when it came out for Xbox One. If you remember, I played through a couple of the games, right? Didn't I play through original Halo, and then didn't I play through another one too? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I did, but I can't remember exactly. I don't know the specific mission you're referencing, but good luck and congrats and enjoy. Chef Venus Boyardee has reemerged from his cave where he has been for the past month. Everyone's been asking me, Phil, where's Chef Venus? Phil, what happened to Chef Venus? Phil, is Chef Venus living in your attic? Phil, did Chef Venus change his identity and join the witness protection program because he squealed on, I don't know, on LTG for another rage quit or something? I don't know. I don't keep track. One day someone said, what happened to Chef Venus? So of course what happens is I opened up my phone. I said, let me activate the GPS tracker that I have on Chef Venus and find out where he is right now. Okay, no. I don't know. Chef Venus, I hope you've been well. Welcome back to the streams. He has re-upped his membership for 4 months and says, don't mind me just flexing on non-members. That is completely irresponsible, ridiculously disrespectful, and I thank you for the 4-month remember up. Okay. The Recluse has done a super chat and says, have a nice one. Thank you to the Recluse for that. And then the Dirty Troll did a super chat and says, did you die in Metroid? Yeah, I died many times to those freaking Emmys. I only died like once or twice, legit running out of health. Those fucking Emmys, though. Those are ridiculous. You know, basically it's an insta-kill cutscene. If you don't do a quick time perfectly, you can't get, you die. And it's fucking stupid because you can't really time it. You're just guessing. But I got out of it twice. But yes, I've died. So, okay. So now we swap over to tips. The first tip of today is from Pinocchio, who tipped me $1.50. And he says, hey, DSP, I hope your final stream of Metroid Dread goes well. I got Shin Megami Tensei 5 yesterday, and while I think it's a fantastic game, I really don't think it would suit your streams very well. It's almost entirely menu-based JRPG combat, and it's very lengthy as well. That's really exactly what I've heard. Really, that's exactly what I've heard, is that even though the game is probably a really, really great JRPG, this is probably a JRPG that's great to play yourself, especially if you're the kind of person who maybe plays it a few hours a day, really commits yourself to a game over time, and this would be like your focus for a while, because it's very lengthy and challenging. It's probably not going to work for someone like me, who at most would play it a couple times a week, is going to be doing, interactive streams with my viewers, and the combat's going to be very menu-centric and heavy and not very fun to watch, and it would be a grindy style game where basically, not necessarily grinding combat where it's the same thing over and over, but basically it's a game that just goes on and on and on and on and on. Right now, I'm over 50 hours into Lost Judgment, and people are like, oh my god, when's Lost Judgment going to conclude? I can't believe you're still playing Lost Judgment. Just like that, they say it. They wiggle their jowls. They say, Judgment! It's very, very disconcerting. Now imagine I'm playing a game that's twice as long as Lost Judgment. Exactly. So, thank you for the input. I agree with you, Pinocchio. Jim tipped me $10, which is so far the biggest tip of the day. Let's get Jim up on the leaderboard. That is, I'm updating the wrong thing. Here we go. There we go. There we go. People are still reacting to the judgment. Okay. So thank you to Jim for a $10 tip. And he says, I think you should take a poll to see if people are interested in Metroidvanias as a whole, or was it just Dread that they wanted to watch? For me this time around, I was more excited because it was Dread, and I'm thinking maybe it's the same for others as well. Okay, so what Jim is surmising is because Metroid Dread, everyone knew it was a great game. It was a game that I had skipped in October, but people like to see me play the hot new releases, that this was a one-off exception, and if I were to go try to play Ori and the Blind Forest or Hollow Knight, that support would not be great. That's interesting to me. That's very interesting to me. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps what we would have to do is do an experiment, right? Here's the good news about that. I own Ori and the Blind Forest digitally on the Xbox, and I own Hollow Knight digitally. I think on PlayStation. I'm trying to remember where I played it. Maybe it is Xbox. I can't remember. I own it on one of them. So if we ever wanted to do an experiment and say, experimental stream, everyone. Tonight I'm trying to play a Metroidvania game and see if you guys will come and support and enjoy it. We could do that one-off stream and test it and see how it worked. And if it works, great. And if not, if it, attendance is low and support's low and everyone complains boring, then maybe we could say, okay, experiment done. We saw what happened, right? We don't have to continue on with this. That's the good thing about it, is I do have some games over my history here that I tried, and even though they failed, maybe we could try them again, right? One stream of testing something, if it doesn't work out, is fine, Okay. Thank you, Jim, for your input and your support. Slam Dunk has tipped me $1.50 saying, unban me, I've done nothing wrong. I've been a loyal defender of yours and a contributor. Eternal Napon has banned all of my accounts. I can't believe this is uncontrollable. Slam Dunk, if you're really a regular of this stream, and you've watched this stream at length, I'm pretty sure by now you know exactly what you need to do to seek an unbanning on my channel. You need to email me at darksidefil@hotmail.com. You need to include a direct link to your YouTube channel. I will then be able to look into it and determine if I will unban you or not. Come on! You know how to do it. Why are you doing this? Why are you tipping me on stream and acting like I'm going to unban you right now? I can't even do that if I wanted to. There's no capability for me to do it on the fly on a stream. I can't do it. That's not how YouTube works. Maybe next year. We're all waiting for these changes that YouTube has promised us for streaming. There's going to be improved moderation options. There's going to be gifted memberships. There's going to be a chocolate bar dispenser. When you're watching YouTube, you press a button and a delicious chocolate bar launches onto your lap. You can eat it right there. At least one of those things is not true, but if any of them came true, I'd be pleased. All right? But anyway, it's not there yet. So we have to wait. And we see what happens next year with that. But if you want to get unbanned, you know the process. Stop bothering me. Okay. Game Trekker has tipped me $5. Says, I'm feeling slightly reminiscent today. Remember back in Hades when you had a knockback boon on your magnet fists so that you had an attack that would suck enemies in, but then it would blast them away. Those devs thought of everything. Good times. Yes, that was cool because I remember specifically. The cool thing about it is you'd be surrounded by enemies and it would all suck them in like a vacuum. Then you hit them so hard, they would all fly away. So it did exactly what you wanted. They got close when you needed them to. You dealt your damage, and then you knocked them back so they couldn't counterattack. It was a really good build, I remember. Hades is such a good game. Seriously, Hades, I love that freaking game. I can't believe how good it is. The game mechanics are shockingly good for the way that they built the game. So, awesome. All right. Game Trekker has tipped me another $5. It's just as you said. PlayStation 2 dominated the Xbox. Then the Xbox 360 dominated the PS3. The PS4 dominated Xbox One. Now look at the problems the PS5 is having compared to the Xbox Series systems. Seems like these game execs always get so complacent after success. I know. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I don't understand. Like, how do you not understand that history has repeated itself for the last 20 years and not recognize this, right? Like, how? And it just flip-flop, flip-flop. And by the way, I own PS5 and I liked it. And then I got Xbox Series X. I was like, Jesus, dude. What a difference. Seriously, controller's better. Game Pass, such a better experience, right? Actually having surround sound on my console that you should have in a current gen console. It's like, oh, it's just the opposite of last gen. When I got my Xbox One, it was missing all these features and shit, and I had problems with it. While the PS4, I had no problems, and I had all these cool features, right? So there you go. Thank you very much, Game Tracker, for the support. CM Fool, Timmy, $4.20. He says, Psychonauts 2 is the quiet man of 2021. Man, it's so underrated. CM Fool, you are a very big jerk. How could you say such a horrible thing about Psychonauts 2? I will never forgive you. Then he tipped another $4.20, and he says, is Pokemon back on? All right, now here's the thing. We were actually talking about this earlier this week when I was playing Lost Judgment. Allow me to have the conversation on the PreStream podcast today. So, right now, here's the issue with Pokemon, all right? Pokemon released Diamond and Pearl. What is it? Shining Diamond or Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, or I don't know. Whatever it's called. They released those in late November, right? We all know Pokemon games are lengthy. We all know that if I were to play a Pokemon game, arguably it would take anywhere between 30, 40 hours minimum to probably get through it and get all the Pokemon and everything. It's going to be time consuming. We know that. Especially for my style of gameplay. It's not me playing it 7 times a week. It's me playing it maybe 2, 3 times a week. It's going to take me a while to get through it. I would argue at least a month, if not a little longer, to get through Pokemon. If I were to start playing it, okay? Now, right now, there's no time for Pokemon. I'm in the midst of too many playthroughs. But, excuse me. If you take a look at my schedule, I feel I should beat Lost Judgment for sure within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to beat Lost Judgment by the end of December at the latest, okay? Forza Horizon 5, we're actually approaching the end. I've unlocked all the final race segments of each type of race. They're lengthy. They're like 20 to 30 minutes long each, but I've unlocked them all. And there's a few story-based missions I still want to do. But for the most part, everything's unlocked that I need to do to see all the best stuff in the game and do the finale. Probably a few more streams and maybe we're done with Forza. Okay? Halo Infinite campaign. I'm sure it'll be decent length. It ain't going to be super lengthy. You know that about Halo Infinite. It ain't going to be like a 20-hour campaign. Maybe 10, 15 tops, if that, right? So that's going to be one I play for a few weeks. That's going to be done, right? So out of all the playthroughs I'm doing, within 2-3 weeks, I'm probably going to start finishing up a good amount of them. And then we're going to start looking for new games for the rotation, okay? I have many candidates of games that I can play. Pokemon is certainly one of them. But here's the thing. I was talking with people during the Lost Judgment stream 2 days ago. And we're thinking, wait a minute, isn't there another Pokemon game coming out? Yes. There is a new Pokemon game called Pokemon Arceus that is coming out in late January. This is the actual new Pokemon game. Not a remake or a remaster or a rehash. This Pokemon game is the one that's supposed to have an open world where you actually have to actively control your trainer and dodge and do stuff like that. You've never done that before. It's always just been, oh, walk around the open world, oh, random encounter. Now it's like, there's actually fights and encounters in this environment. You have to dodge attacks and do stuff like that. It seems unique and interesting, okay? At the very same time, the weird thing about Arceus is we haven't really heard that much about it. Like, there's been a little bit of previews and stuff. Has there been a live gameplay demo of it that you're aware of? Have we heard extensive information about the length of the game or anything? No. This game, guys, this game is a month and a half away. You know that, right? A month and a half until the release of this game that we don't know that much about. It's really weird. Oh, I'm being told to pronounce Arceus, not Arceus. Okay, Arceus. So, I'm looking at the Pokemon situation, and it's like, if I were to start a new Pokemon game within the next few weeks, let's say I finish up one of those 3 games that I just mentioned that I'm playing that are getting near the end, and okay, now we're going to start Pokemon Diamond. Well, that Pokemon Diamond playthrough will probably run for a month and a half, if not longer. Guess what? That's going to cut into Arceus, because Arceus releases in late January. Now, I can't play 2 Pokemon games at once, so now do I delay my playthrough of Arceus? Right? What do I do? So then you could argue, well, maybe you should just, for now, you should skip Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, because those are old releases. These are not new releases, let's be honest. These are re-releases of old games, a little bit modernized graphics or whatever for a modern audience. Is it a big rush to play that game when I could play it at any time in the future at my own pace and no rush to do it? because it's not technically a new release at all. Okay? So we talked about this, and I guess what people are saying is, maybe just focus in on what I'm doing now, do a few other things to kill some time, and then play Arceus. And then when Arceus is done, then later this year, maybe when I need downtime stuff, right? I'm looking for a chill playthrough for downtimes later in 2022, then look to do Diamond and Pearl, okay? I'm kind of the same opinion. It's weird because typically when a Pokemon comes out, people ask for it right away. In this case, with Diamond and Pearl, I didn't really feel that. Like, it wasn't really like people were coming on the stream, oh my god, Phil, why aren't you playing Pokemon Diamond and Pearl? You're missing out. What did you... It wasn't like that at all. People were like, man, okay, play it whenever. Because it's an older game, you know? So I'm kind of like, okay, that's what I might do. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to just wait. We're going to, you know, will I play more games between now and Arceus? Yes. And they're just not going to be Pokemon. I'll probably hold off on Pokemon for now. And maybe, like I said, maybe we'll do Condemned Criminal Origins. Maybe we'll go on Game Pass and see what games are on Game Pass and do stuff like that. Maybe I'll try to play a Metroidvania game. Who knows? All right? But I don't want to overdo it with Pokemon Mania here and have a whole month of Pokemon and then there's more Pokemon, you see? If you want to talk about killing hype for a game, play a fucking game with the same exact genre right before it. I know that from experience because I've tried it before. It doesn't work. So that's kind of what I'm doing for now. It seems like a lot of people in stream chat seem to be agreeing with me that this is the right thing to do. That's probably what I'm going to be doing for now. Okay? Okay. Chef Venus has tipped me $10. And he says, thanks for the funny shout out, Phil. Good to be back, dudes. And it's good to have you back, Chef Venus. Thank you for the very supportive $10 tip. Chicken Man has tipped me $1.50. He says, Among Us is coming to Game Pass on December 14th. Could it be one of the games that you play with channel members down the road? Well, here's the thing. I don't know exactly the ramifications of that. Here's what I mean by that. All right? Like, let's say I play Among Us, and there's no voice chat, first of all, because I don't know if it has voice chat or not, but let's say it doesn't. Let's say it's just like you walk around, you're using little communication symbols or whatever to talk in the game. Maybe there's even a text chat, right? The ramifications of playing Among Us is that some asshole goes on there and immediately starts becoming a racist or saying something fucked up to try to get me in trouble, okay? And that's a big risk. You have to understand that on YouTube, I got all my eggs in one basket here. My streaming, my videos, they're all in one spot. Okay, it's not like diversification, like when I was streaming on Twitch, and then I had my videos on YouTube, and if something goes wrong with one of them, then I have a backup on the other, you know. Not to say that I couldn't stream on Twitch. I could stream on Twitch right now if I wanted to, which is great that I have that backup, but I prefer to keep everything on YouTube. Do I really want to mess around with a game where the point of the game is kind of like a whodunit, you know, who's the spy or whatever, but then people could immediately go on there and try to fuck, troll, and derail it, right? I am not beyond believing that someone would actively become a channel member of mine just to join a session of Among Us and be disgusting. And I think they well know that they would get banned from the channel and there'd be ramifications for it. They don't care. I ruined Phil's session for 5 minutes. Maybe I'll get him in trouble. Ha 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 ha. Wow. Ha 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 ha. Oh, it's so funny. Ah, ha 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 ha. Oh, you're hilarious, right? But that's the point I'm making. This is why I don't do these kind of games. This is why I don't. Because whenever I've tried to do them, people just turn it into the most toxic, disgusting shit, and there's no point in doing it. I don't think I would play Among Us. I think, you want to play a multiplayer game like Halo? Okay, what could someone really do potentially in Halo? Teabag you and not play, in which case you don't fucking invite them to the next game? Big deal, right? Among Us just seems like a game that needs social interaction. When you're opening yourself up to that risk, it's like you're asking for it, you're gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm really trying to think, I don't think it's going to make sense. Plus, I'm really not interested in the fucking game. It's just a fucking meme game. Let's be honest here. It is. It's a meme game. Is there anything interesting, unique, or fun about that game? It's a fucking meme game. For kids. It's stupid. I'm not interested in it. Okay? Okay. Sand Carl to me $4.20. This is The Last Ronin. I have no idea what you're talking about. What is The Last Ronin? Thank you, Sand Carl, for the tip, and you went right over my head. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, anything else to talk about? Because we've covered all the shout-outs. Oh, wait. There was a super chat. Jenna did a super chat and says, what's the funniest thing you've done this week? What is the funniest thing I did this week? Oh, man. See, I think that's subjective. Like, if you want to objectively ask me, what's the best or most epic thing that happened this week in gameplay, I would say in Halo Infinite, I got like a 10 streak with the fucking gravity hammer. And in Metroid Dread, I perfect parried the Emmy. And then killed it when I was going to die. Like, I was going to die. I had fucked up. And it grabbed me and I perfect parried it. And then I blew its face off. And it was epic. And it was like, wow, that was cool. Like, I said, those stand out as the most epic moments of the week gameplay-wise for me. Funny moment? I mean, every time I play fucking GTA, something funny goes on. I flip my car, I fucking die, I'm stupid, you know. A million dumb things. So I think it's more of a, that's more of a subjective question that I can't answer myself. That's more on the viewer. So, there you go. Did I see Carlos's question? No, I did not. No. He says, I looked into the NFT thing. Someone listed an NFT of your channel for sale online. Do you think that is a problem? Yeah, because it's not real. It's not real. If someone thinks they're buying it, they have no legal right to that. And they're going to be they're being scammed. They're not getting nothing, right? They're getting absolutely nothing. They'll buy it and have nothing at all. And by the way, that doesn't even make sense because an NFT cannot be like a channel. An NFT, like I said, an NFT is a piece of digital content. It is not a business or a channel. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as an NFT of a business. DSPGaming is part of my overall business that I run on the internet. All right? It's one of the components of the business. You can't sell that as an NFT. An NFT is like a collectible, like I said, a piece of, what was I, now I've lost my train of thought from earlier, what I was calling it. Something that alters your appearance or an item in a video game. You know what I'm saying? Also, there's a way that tracks them. What's it called? Hold on. What's it called? How do they track the NFTs? Don't they have, well, yeah, it's a scam, but of course it's a scam. We all know that. But what is it that they call it that they track it with to say that it's unique and no one else can copy it? So, did someone say it earlier? Hold on. Blockchain. Thank you. There's some, I don't even know what it is. There's something they call it the blockchain, and they use that to track it. So if someone tried to copy your NFT, it wouldn't have the same blockchain attached to it, so you would know it's not the unique. It's like a knockoff. It would be like, this is the Mona Lisa. Oh, but if you look at it, there's ways to tell it's not the original. It's a knockoff of the Mona Lisa, right? So it's kind of the same deal. Yeah, so no one would be able to say, oh, this is an NFT of this. There's no blockchain associated with it that says that it's the original, you see? Literally, people, I'm sure people will be scamming. People will absolutely, positively, 100% be scamming people on the internet saying, I have the rights to this NFT, buy it from me. And the idiots will send the money and get nothing, get junk, or get nothing at all, right? It's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. And I told you guys, I have none of my shit's NFTs, just so you know. I own the rights to myself, my likeness, my business, my YouTube channels, all that, I own it. No one has the rights to be selling NFTs of anything of mine or anyone else without explicit permission. So don't go out, oh, well, you mean I could buy the NFT of Sonic the Hedgehog right now? I'm doing it. What are you talking about? What's your evidence that's real, right? So many people are going to get scammed. It's going to be ridiculous. Okay. All right. Chicken Manus tipped me $1.50. Says former MTV star Andy Milonakis made a collection of pixel art NFTs, and he made $5 million this past weekend on things sold. Each one had like 30 of each. Great. Good for him. People are stupid. No, really. People are just incredibly stupid. So it is. You get a little bit of notoriety, and now all of a sudden you, oh, look what I did. I threw some pixels together. Buy my art. Oh, $1 million. Thanks. Well, you're stupid. Wow, you're really dumb. Oh, man. Okay. All right, guys. So, anything else, or are we good? I think we're good. I actually want to just wash my hands before we begin with gaming today. But outside of that, because what it was this, There was a, you know how sometimes on a bottle there's a little bit of adhesive that gets stuck to it? I don't know what it's from. I think it's the glue from like the box the bottle's in. There's a little bit on my bottle. And I'm like, nah, that's kind of on my hand. I want to go fucking wash my hands. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, let's end the pre-stream. And we'll jump right into Metroid Dread. No break. Because I don't take breaks anymore. I hold in my piss and shit infinitely. No, I take my break after the first hour of gameplay now. It's one of the major changes that I made this year. So, all right, let's do it. Thank you for watching the pre-stream podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.